Mit dem Gewehr und der verrückten Maske, dein Atem riecht nach Blut. Und du knurrst wie ein tollwütiges Tier.
Willkommen zu einem niegelnagelneuen Let's Play-Projekt. Dieses Mal ein Spiel, mit dem ich groß geworden bin. Ein Spiel, was ich damals übelst hart gesuchtet habe auf der PS2. Und endlich gibt es das auch wieder auf der PS5. Zuletzt gab es noch die HD Collection für die PS3, aber das ist ja schon viele Jahre her. Deswegen freue ich mich umso mehr, jetzt das Ganze auf Next Gen spielen zu können auf der PS5. Ich bin schon sehr gespannt. Boah, Alter. Option, warte mal, Sprache. Wir sichern uns vorher mal ab. Ja, wir wollen schön auf Deutsch spielen, so wie es sich hier hört. Na, es wird vermutlich mit deutschen Untertiteln halt sein. Ist hier auch richtig und wichtig. Boah, ich hab grad Gänsehaut. Ich weiß gar nicht, was ich sagen soll, weil das ist einfach... Metal Gear Solid ist einfach Liebe, vor allem der dritte Teil. Der dritte Teil ist absolut mein absoluter Lieblingsteil. Deswegen bin ich da gerade ein bisschen... Wow. US-Version, europäische Version, wo ist der Unterschied? Falls die nordamerikanische und europäische Version spielen, bei den Daten der nordamerikanischen und europäischen Version werden miteinander geteilt. Sie sind jedoch nicht mit der japanischen Version kompatibel. Falls sie die japanische Version spielen, dann sie nicht mehr... Ja, ich weiß nicht, wo der Unterschied ist zwischen europäischer und US-amerikanischer Version. Ich würde mal sagen, wir machen die europäische Version. Wer sind die Europäer? Deutsch bitte, ja. Oh ja, wer braucht ein Handbuch? Das kenne ich alles noch aus dem Kopf. Hier, Spiel starten. Warte mal, da ist gerade aufgeploppt HD Collection. Wie bitte? Also könnte sich so gut wie nichts geändert haben. Da bin ich jetzt gerade ein bisschen stutzig. Ah, ey, da steht HD. Moment. 2012, da kam die HD-Kollektion für die PS3 raus. Das ist ein... Also da ploppt bei mir gerade so ein Ausrufezeichen im Kopf auf. Das ist ein Alarmsignal. Spezial, da gibt es hier bestimmt Snake vs. Monkey und den Boss-Mode. Aktion, nee, doch nicht. Ja, wir können nämlich auf Bilder schießen mit einer Kamera, die wir halt finden. Aber der Snake vs. Monkey Mode, der ist eigentlich normalerweise mit dabei. Der fehlt hier. Sehr seltsam. Blut natürlich ein, ja. Jo, ja, doch. Passt doch alles. Wäre geil, wenn der alte Spielstand... Nee, von der PS3 ist natürlich nicht mit dabei. Naja. Neues Spiel, neues Glück. Auf geht's. Ich spiele zum ersten Mal Metal Gear Solid. Nein, mir gefiel immer der dritte. Der dritte ist für mich der beste Teil. Das war früher bei der PS2 auch so gewesen. Wenn du bei der PS2 dich für Metal Gear Solid 2 entschieden hast, dann startest du halt quasi mit dem Gesicht von Raiden. Das ist so eine Silikonmaske, die du da so trägst. Metal Gear Solid 1 auch mega geil, richtig geil. Aber ich muss zugeben, Metal Gear Solid 3 ist so mein persönlicher Favorit. Mal gucken, mit was wir da beginnen werden. Schwierigkeitsgrad machen wir normal. Ich muss mal wieder reinkommen, mit der ganzen Steuerung wieder vertraut machen. Jo.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings.
And fly. God be with you.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the Virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the Virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why'd he want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the West. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, and so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then, a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selinoyarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selinoyarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the West. If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talent?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast.
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle. Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training?
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
So, wir sind jetzt hier im Dschungel und ja, die Cutscenes, die dauern halt so lange. Das ist völlig normal. Das war früher so, jetzt ist es auch wieder so. Aber fühlt sich an, wie wir nach Hause zu kommen. Das ist herrlich. Calorie Mate, ja, das ist so eine Art Keks, den können wir essen. Wir haben noch ein Messerchen bei uns. Wir brauchen erstmal unsere Hucke wieder. Das ist ein bisschen schwierig. Ich muss mich erstmal wieder an die Steuerung hier gewöhnen. Hier oben rechts können wir jetzt unseren Tarndecks sehen. Wir können verschiedene Klamotten freischalten mit verschiedenen Tarndecks-Möglichkeiten, wie gut wir gerade getarnt sind. Jetzt gerade mit Olivgrün sind wir jetzt gerade zu 80% getarnt. Hier ist übrigens eine Schlange. Den nehmen wir natürlich mit. Die ist zwar tot, aber die können wir noch nach unseren Gegnern werfen, um die halt ein bisschen in die Irre zu führen. So, jetzt drücken wir Dreieck und klettern hier mal hoch. So. Ja, hier oben ist noch ein Keoratan. Ich versuche wirklich in jedem Gebiet diese ganzen Frösche abzuschießen, nur an den komme ich jetzt gerade nicht ran. Ich brauche erstmal die Knarre wieder. Und deswegen muss ich mich erstmal hier hängen lassen. So. Und dann schießen wir auf das Ding.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the Enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun?
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire. Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger-happy with it. The suppressor's durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word. And there'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She?
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
The boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me.
Oh.
Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours.
You've lost weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top-secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top-secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake. Oh, right. Your codename is Snake. It suits you well.
That's right. The legendary unit that the boss put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Ja, das war früher halt so in gewesen mit den ganzen langen Cutscenes, aber ich find's cool, fühlt sich an, wie nach Hause zurückzukehren. So, und jetzt werden wir natürlich hier diesen kleinen süßen Frosch auch erschießen. Da kann ich gleich mal gucken, ob sich das hier verändert hat. Ha! Erst Trophäe erhalten, sehr cool. Und fallen lassen. So, wenn ich erst vorstellen, ich da drüben auf dem Hügel, da war, glaube ich, auch noch mal drum liegen. Da würde ich kurz mal nachgucken wollen. Oh, ganz wichtig, Tarnung ändern, ja. Oh, warte mal, hier mache ich das hier. Okay, wo komme ich hier? Hier komme ich zu mir rein, alles klar, Tarnung. Da würde ich gerne einmal die Uniform ändern wollen. Tiger Stripe, das ist richtig geil, damit bist du überall richtig gut getarnt. Natürlich Kriegsbemalung, müssen wir auch ein bisschen gucken. Ah, hier haben wir zum Beispiel eine Maske von Raiden. Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. So. Braun, grün, Splitter, obwohl Wald natürlich auch ziemlich gut ist. Jetzt sind wir schon mal richtig gut getarnt. Und ich werde sagen, ich muss mal oben auf den Höhe gucken, weil ich glaube, da war irgendwie ein Medikament. Irgendetwas, was uns gut weiterhelfen kann. Warte mal. Da ist doch irgendetwas. Und da liegt noch ein Medikament rum, richtig. Und einen Vorrennen hätten wir jagen können, aber egal, dann ist er jetzt halt weg. Wir werden noch viele andere Tiere hier jagen können. Alter, hab ich Bock drauf. So, wir haben jedenfalls ein Kiroatan abgeschossen. Fehlen noch, ich glaube, es waren 63. Ich glaube, es gibt insgesamt 63 hier in dem Spiel. Jetzt kommt die Krokos. Der Krokos, ja. Naja, hier sind immer irgendwelche Viecher, die hier durchs Gras hüpfen. Die sind natürlich gut getarnt. Egal. Ich bin nicht hier, um irgendwelche Vögel zu jagen. Das da sieht viel leckerer aus. Aber natürlich würde ich vorher das Ding hier runterholen wollen. Dann können die Hornissen sich noch in Ruhe austoben. Weil die greifen mich an, sobald die mich sehen. Das möchte ich natürlich nicht. Da drüben ist ein Fels Kroko. Wir springen drüber. Puh. Das klappt noch, der Trick. Alles klar. Habe ich nicht gesehen gehabt. Ich habe das Spiel schon ein Weilchen nicht mehr gespielt. Es sei mir bitte verziehen. Oh ja, drüben ist noch was. War das ein Gewehr? Wir gucken mal. Nee, das ist ein Schalldämpfer, den wir bekommen haben. Schalldämpfer sind richtig und wichtig, meine Lieben. Denkt immer dran. Boah, fühlt sich das gut an. Da drüben ist eine Schlange, die sehe ich. Die können wir ja eigentlich fangen, weil das hier ist eine Betäubungsknarre. Damit können wir Tiere, die mit abgeschossen werden, betäuben und in Käfige einsperren. Darf ich das behalten? War gerade eine Trophäe, die gerade aufgeploppt ist. Hier, der nächste Kiroatan, den holen wir uns natürlich. Das war der Nummer 2. Fehlen noch 62. Alles klar. Wie man sehen kann, der Schalldämpfer ist jetzt ein bisschen mehr abgenutzt. Den können wir nicht mehr so häufig verwenden. Wir müssen darauf ein bisschen Acht geben. Was wir hinbekommen werden.
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The Uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the Face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively. Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the Camo Index. The Camo Index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
Das ist richtig und wichtig. So, ne, abspeichern. Nicht, dass noch irgendwas uninteressant, nicht, dass noch etwas Böses passiert. Wir wollen nicht unbedingt entdeckt werden. So, speichern. Speichern. Und Paramedic hat immer irgendeine Spruchauflage, wenn wir die anfunken.
Saving the game, Snake?
Jo, ich würde jetzt gerne mal speichern wollen. Ja, alles jungfräulich. So, wir speichern. Das ging flott.
Hey, Snake, you ever heard of Godzilla, King of Monsters?
No, what is it?
It's a movie. You haven't seen it?
Nope.
It's about this monster called Godzilla, who grows to an enormous size in a nuclear test and goes on a rampage in Tokyo.
Nuclear test, huh? Then the Marshall Islands must be crawling with giant monsters right about now.
It's just make-believe.
Maybe that's why my pants have been so tight lately.
Snake, it's a movie, not a report out of Los Alamos.
I know. So then what happened?
Godzilla is immune to all weapons, and humanity has no way to stop the monster. Dr. Shirazawa develops a new type of weapon, but meanwhile, Godzilla is getting closer and closer to Tokyo, obliterating everything in its path. It was originally a Japanese movie, but they made an American version, too. I recommend seeing the original Japanese one if you ever get the chance. It's mostly mindless fun, but it's also got a serious anti-nuke message as well.
Where can I see the original?
You'll just have to go to Japan.
Really? That's too bad.
Well, if you wait 40 years, you might be able to see it in America, too.
Why's that?
2004 will be Godzilla's 50th birthday.
You think they're still going to be making Godzilla movies then?
Of course! Everybody loves Godzilla.
You sure know a lot about movies.
I don't suppose you're the movie-watching type, are you?
Not really.
Okay, then I'll tell you everything I know. When the going gets tough, movies can save your life. It's always good to be able to look at things from a different perspective when you get in a jam. That's the magic of movies.
No kidding. Well, I guess it might at least make a nice distraction.
That's the spirit, Snake. Have a little fun.
Oh, den wir natürlich haben. Den wir jetzt ein paar Genicke krachen lassen, Kehlen durchschneiden. Nein, war ein Spaß. Ich werde natürlich hier einen Run machen, wo niemand zu Schaden kommt. Typi gesichtet, keine Sorge, ich sehe ihn, ich sehe ihn. Man kann die Typen sogar verhören. Gute Nachtkeule. Oh, warte mal, was war da drin? Warte mal, da ist ja noch was. Insektmittel, das ist gut, wenn dann halt Blutegel an einen kleben. Zum Glück sind wir jetzt nicht unbedingt im Sumpf unterwegs. Geht's noch? Geht's noch? Ja, das geht noch. Perfekt. Du kommst hier mal bitte mal um die Ecke. So, dann droppst du noch einen Gegenstand. Perfekt, Munition. Und wir können das Funkgerät kaputt machen. Gute Nacht, Funkgerät. Boah, kann er keine Verstärkung mehr rufen, für den Fall, dass was passieren sollte. Oh. Das tut mir jetzt aber leid. So, wir müssen da, ich weiß, wir müssen eigentlich da vorne raus. Machen wir jetzt nicht. Wir müssen hier rechts runter, weil da ist nämlich noch dieser eine Frosch, den will ich ja jagen. Ich habe ja gesagt, ich versuche hier alle zu finden. Weil der ist ja bei diesen Baumstümpfen da irgendwo in der Nähe. Deswegen machen wir einen kleinen Abstich hier hin. Fragst natürlich, ob ich so nah ran muss, oder ob ich den schon hier aus der Entfernung wegschießen kann. Da, aber im Prinzip sehe ich ihn schon. Guck mal. Gut, ich kann nicht so weit schießen. Weil ich weiß, hier um die Ecke ist nämlich noch ein Soldat, der uns entdecken könnte, worauf ich jetzt keinen Bock habe. Da, den Frosch sehe ich. Erwischt. Das bedeutet, wir krauchen jetzt in die Richtung weiter. Und schön liegen bleiben. Wir wollten uns nur den Frosch holen, jetzt geht's hier weiter. Ganz entspannt bleiben, Männer. Der Soldat entdeckt, ja, ja. Nicht schlecht. So. Fuck, da ist noch einer. Gute Nacht, Kumpel. Der hätte den nicht entdeckt, das ist unangenehm gewesen. Drop mal ein bisschen was Schönes für mich. Munition, das ist gut. Hast du noch was Schönes? Komm, zeig mal. Boing. Nebelgranaten, cool. Und auf ins nächste Gebiet. Der meint, wenn man eine Idee hat. So, wenn man die sucht, ich speichere nochmal ganz kurz ab. Vorsichtig mit der Porzellankiste, außerdem möchte ich nochmal eine Filmempfehlung hören von Paramedic.
Do you want to save?
Aber gerne doch, junges Fräulein. Weil ich rede furchtbar gerne mit dir. Die ist richtig cool drauf.
Snake, do you know the creature from the Black Lagoon?
Nope, never heard of it.
These scientists are investigating a place deep in the Amazon called the Black Lagoon. and they get picked off one after the other by this fishman thing. And there was this scene when the heroine is going for a swim and the creature sneaks up on her from underwater. Oh, I thought my heart was going to stop. I mean, of course, the 3D effects in It Came from Outer Space were a lot more intense, but...
It wouldn't be referring to you coming from outer space, would it?
How rude! Why do you say that?
Because no one on Earth could be as charming as you.
Fine. I'll just get to the point, Snake. Be careful of what's around you when you're in the water. Just imagining you swimming in those jungle rivers makes me think of you being attacked by a fishman.
I appreciate the concern.
Fishmen aren't the only things that'll attack you in the water. Really be careful out there.
Okay.
And don't be attacking any pretty girls going for a swim, either.
Are you calling me a fishman?
You started it.
Hat sie nicht gesagt. Hat sie nicht gesagt. Oh. Hoppla, wollte ich jetzt nicht runter? Ha. Jedenfalls haben wir noch so ein Froschmomentchen. Gute Nacht, Kumpel. Oh, da kommen jetzt zwei an. Das ist natürlich suboptimal. Das war der erste. Das war der zweite. Ich hab's noch drauf. Ich dachte, ich wäre ein bisschen eingerostet. Dem ist nicht so. Na denn. Dann zeig mal, was du hier Schönes bei dir hast. Munition, der Klassiker. Ich weiß aber noch, dass da hinten noch irgendjemand rumläuft. Wenn das sehe ich den nicht. Okay. Wenn die Frosch abgeknallt, dann können wir jetzt auch weiter rennen. Oh, Vorsicht. Ja, wir können die auch runterfallen lassen. Aber natürlich nicht das Leben von irgendwelchen Leuten in Gefahr setzen. In Gefahr bringen. Ich weiß, dass hier um die Ecke noch einer ist. Knappe Kiste. Das wäre fast nicht losgegangen. Wie ich weiß, unter der Klippe haben wir noch etwas. Das holen wir uns natürlich noch. Da. Schön an die Wand legen und rüber damit. Aber hier ist, glaube ich, noch ein Gewehr. Meins. Jo. Fettes Teil. Und um die Handstützweiten haben wir natürlich auch was gefunden. Wunderbar. Keine Marke brauchen wir. Können mal kurz den Rucksack schalten, das Ding hier ausrüsten. Rucksack, Waffen, jo, Nebel, das Granat, jo. Richtmikrofon brauchen wir eigentlich überhaupt nicht. Passt. Wir gucken nochmal drüben nach. Hier, Fernglas, Medizin, Lebensmittel. Ich glaube, damit können wir Leben heilen, aber das brauche ich eigentlich nicht bei meinen Durchläufen. Bedingungsbilder, Zigarre, Fernglas, das machen wir mal weg, das lassen wir auch mal weg. Nope. Das reicht mir vollkommen aus. Wunderbar, wir sind ausgerüstet, wir sind gefährlich, das gefällt mir. Ich kann kurz mal das Gewehr hier anlegen, so sieht das dann halt aus, wenn man es angelegt hat. Cooles Teil jedenfalls. Granaten sind dabei, Messer ist dabei, ich bin eine Ein-Mann-Armee. Aus dem Weg! Der Papa hat's eilig. Das Reservoir, genau da, wo wir auch hin wollten.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump. I can't see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. And do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. Beginning my approach to the target.
Und das machen wir auf jeden Fall. Hören wir uns nochmal an, was Paramedic hier dazu noch zu sagen hat. Wir wollen ja kein Risiko eingehen.
You want to save?
Aber natürlich, junge Dame. So wie sie es gehört. So.
Snake, have you heard of It Came from Outer Space?
Yeah, you told me already.
So this astronomer sees a meteor, but it's really an alien spaceship, right? And the aliens start replacing the townspeople with clones and forcing them to help repair the ship. The 3D effects were quite realistic.
I've got all the real I can handle here in the jungle.
No, you don't get it. Precisely because it's realistic, with the images jumping out of the screen at you, it makes for a nice escape from reality. I have to admit it made my eyes tired, but it was really intense. Unfortunately, they don't make very many of those movies anymore.
When did it come out?
I was still in college, so probably about 10 years ago.
Guess I'm out of luck then.
You know, they're coming out with household versions of video cassette recorders. One day you'll be able to see old movies anytime you want. It'll be like having a movie theater in your own home.
Really?
It's like if you had a record with movie film etched onto it instead of music. It'll work the same way.
You're kidding.
No, really. And someday they might make movies where you control the characters yourself.
Sounds like magic.
It'll happen. Make sure you stay alive to see it, Snake.
Und damit geht's weiter. Da wollen wir mal gucken. Sokolov retten, nicht bemerkt werden. Das kriegen wir auf jeden Fall hin. Und nebenbei auch den Frosch abknallen. Das ist so ein Ziel, was ich mir gesetzt habe. Die ganzen Frösche hier weggemetern. Weil dann kriegen wir eine Belohnung, wenn wir nicht alle gefunden haben. Allerdings erstmal das Spiel komplett durchspielen und es könnte ein Weilchen dauern. Aber egal, hab Bock drauf. Ich glaube, wenn ich den hier abknalle, das sieht dann, glaube ich, keiner. Scheiße. Gute Nacht. Hat hoffentlich keiner gehört. Da ist noch einer. Gute Nacht. 2 sind betäubt, aber ich glaube in dem Gebiet waren ein paar mehr. Ich glaube 5 oder 6 waren hier, glaube ich. Deswegen müssen wir hier ein bisschen aufpassen und nebenbei auch den Frosch finden. Ganz entspannt, wieder ins ab und zu. Krass, da wieder mal ein paar Tarndecks. Ganz ruhig, ganz ruhig. Psst. Ich höre Schritte. Gute Nacht. Ich hätte Glück gehabt, dass der mich nicht gehört hat. Mein Tarndex ist natürlich für den Hintern. Oh, hoppla, da liegt was. AK-47, oder? Was war das für eine Waffe? Nee, eine Schrotflinte, naja. Wenn ich so hier laufe, dann hört man nämlich nicht meine Schritte. Hier, Frosch gefunden. Nachladen. Ja, ich lausche schon, ob ich irgendwie Schritte höre, aber ich höre aktuell gar nichts. Munition gefunden. Da hinten ist noch einer. Da ist noch einer, Moment mal. Gleich müsst ihr umkippen. Komm, kipp um, Junge. Oh. Fuck, da ist noch einer. So, wo habe ich da wieder reingeraten? Nicht, dass der gleich hier mich entdeckt, das war natürlich nicht. Deswegen... ich habe eine erlegte Netzbüter und die werfen wir natürlich weg. Geh da mal hin.
What's that sound?
Gute Nacht, Kumpel. Für einen Moment, ne? Für einen Moment. Meins. Ganz ruhig bleiben. Ich lausche, aber ich kann nichts weiter hören. Lebensmedikamente aber brauchen wir ja nicht unbedingt. Wir können ja mal was essen. Falsche Taste gedrückt, natürlich. Und zwar so ein Hornissennest, das schmeckt richtig geil. Ja, der schmeckt richtig geil. Psst, ganz entspannt, ganz entspannt. Da ist gerade keiner drin. Hier ist niemand. Auf zu Sokolov.
You must be Sokolov.
Are you one of Volgin's men? You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
Did he now?
What does it mean?
It means he's a man of his word. But we've got no time for this. You have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volgin of Gru. You in the West know him as Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt? Never heard of him.
He's a member of the Army's extremist faction, a man who seeks to seize control of the motherland. Ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 years ago, Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful coexistence with the West. Despite resistance and criticism from hawks in the Army and the provincial authorities, Khrushchev has managed to suppress the opposition so far, but the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President Kennedy's assassination.
Precisely. In a sense, Khrushchev has lost his biggest partner, and his power base is rapidly crumbling away. A certain group is plotting to use this opportunity to seize power by rallying the anti-government forces, overthrowing Khrushchev, and installing Brezhnev and Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the GRU. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power. The intelligence says that they are going to make their move during the test.
Then, the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Leave it to me.
By the way, your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Is that so? America is truly a frightening country.
Having second thoughts?
No. I have no love for this place. Let's go.
Major, this is Snake. Sokolov is safe with me. He's doing fine. No injuries.
Good work, Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
What about the sentries?
No one spotted me.
I see.
What about the boss?
We lost contact with the boss some time ago.
What happened?
It's probably just a weak signal. Just hurry and get Sokolov out of there.
Freeze!
So this is the legendary boss.
Huh?
Huh? We meet at last.
You're from the Oslot unit of Spetsnaz. Huh. What's a GRU soldier doing here?
Soldier?
He's the Ocelot commander.
Ha! That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Sokolov is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the Gru.
Sokolov, take cover.
Huh. You're not the boss, are you?
Crew operatives!
What is that stance? Huh. That gun. If you're not the boss, then die.
Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one! Whoa!
You ejected the first bullet by hand, didn't you? I see what you were trying to do. But testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you. Besides, I don't think you're cut out for an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
You filthy American dog!
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Major, do you read me?
I read you. Snake, you all right?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU? Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
I don't like it. Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Ach, wie schön, wir haben die Trophäe Halbstarker bekommen. Wunderbar. So, wir können gleich die nächste Trophäe bekommen, und zwar indem wir einen Time-Paradox verursachen. Das werden wir vorab speichern, weil wir müssen dazu nämlich Ocelot töten. Und das kommt natürlich in der Statistik überhaupt nicht gut, wenn du da ein paar Leichen hast. Deswegen, wir speichern jetzt ab, ganz entspannt ab.
You wanna save?
Aber natürlich, junge Dame. Yep.
Hey Snake, have you ever seen Forbidden Planet?
No, can't say I have.
It's about this expedition that goes to the planet Altair 4 in an ultra-fast spaceship. When they arrive, they meet the survivor of the last expedition, Dr. Morbius. Dr. Morbius was exploring the planet along with his daughter Altera and the versatile Robbie the robot. Ignoring the doctor's warnings, the expedition team is suddenly attacked by an invisible creature called the Monster from the Id. The special effects they used for the science stuff were really neat. I wish I had a robot like Robbie that could make anything I wanted it to.
I'm more interested in that invisible monster. If I were invisible, I wouldn't have to bother hiding or wearing camouflage.
Maybe someday you'll be able to turn invisible.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
So, tut mir leid, Ocelot, ich muss dich jetzt leider eliminieren. Wir haben ja hier ein Sturmgewehr, wir haben aber auch noch eine Pumpe. Womit töten wir ihn? Weil dadurch erzeugen wir nämlich im Time Paradox, wodurch wir nämlich schon eine Trophäe freischalten, nicht mit die Pumpe. Tut mir leid, Ocelot, ist nichts Persönliches, okay? Du warst ein cooler Gegner, aber ich muss dich jetzt leider erschießen. Ich tue es einfach nur für die Trophäe. Wirklich, mir ist die Trophäe halt wirklich sehr, sehr wichtig. Problem gelöst, Serie vorbei. Das ist die Trophäe, genau.
Snake, what have you done? You changed the future. You've created a time paradox.
Time Paradox. Das mussten wir jetzt machen für die Trophäe. Das war richtig und wichtig. So, dann wollen wir mal. Wir laden gleich mal von vorne und dann geht's wieder rein ins Getümmel. Schön, schön, schön. Ey, dass das noch funktioniert. Mega. Nee, war natürlich Ocelot nicht umbringen. Ich habe es nur gerade hier für die Trophäe getan. Das sollten wir ja machen. Trophäen sind richtig und wichtig. Seid ihr auch so kleine Trophäenjäger? Ich jage ja gern Trophäen. Dass noch 2012 dran steht, das wurmt mich ein bisschen. Das bedeutet natürlich nichts Gutes. Spiel laden. Normal. Ja, bitte. Und Problem gelöst. Er lebt wieder. So, er lässt mir eine Mausefalle fallen, die wollen wir unbedingt haben. Weil die können wir nämlich hier platzieren fürs nächste Mal. Warte, da drüben. Hier platzieren wir den nämlich. Hier kommt nämlich manchmal richtig gutes Viehzeug rum. Rucksack, Mausefalle, wo die ist wo nochmal? Da. Weil wir verlieren nämlich gleich alle Gegenstände und die Mausefalle können wir dann hier nämlich platzieren und haben die halt beim nächsten Mal noch. Das ist richtig cool. Hier rüberspringen können wir nicht, das ist schade. Aber im Prinzip, warte mal, im Prinzip können wir hier so... Ja doch, so können wir rüber. So können wir rüber. Problem gelöst. Ich weiß auch nicht, warum ich hier jetzt gerade loote. Wir von den gleich alles, aber egal. Nur mal kurz gucken. Mir lassen überhaupt nichts fallen, diese Säcke. Du bist eh tot, warte mal kurz. Nee. Alles ein Sack Kartoffeln. Da drüben will ich hin. Schön. Auf geht's, ich bin im Einsatz, ich komme. Ich bin auf dem Weg. Unsichtbare Wand, danke. Sokolov müssen wir retten. Den da.
You okay? Those men were from the Ocelot unit.
Spetsnaz?
Yes. The best crew has to offer. They're coming for me. I'm finished!
Calm down. I'll get you out of here, I promise. And we've got some of the best backup we could ask for.
Look.
That's what they were making you build.
Yes. The Shagohod. The treading behemoth. A tank capable of launching nuclear IRBMs.
It can launch nuclear missiles from that kind of terrain?
Oh, yes. And without support from friendly units.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating solo. Is that thing finished?
No. This is only the end of Phase 1. It won't be truly finished until we complete Phase 2.
Phase 2?
The weapon's true form. If it is completed and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean the end of the Cold War.
The end of the Cold War?
Yes. And then the Age of Fear will truly begin.
A world war.
I had no choice but to cooperate. I didn't want to die. I wanted to see my wife and child again in America. Please, take me to America, quickly. They cannot complete it without my help.
Got it. Let's go. Boss?
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me.
Hornets?
My friends, let us fight together again.
I have waited long for this day.
We will fight with you once more. Welcome back, boss.
Now that all 5 of us are together, it's time we go to the depths of hell itself. It's raining blood. Is he crying?
Kuwabara, Kuwabara. Ah, what a joyful scene.
Colonel Vogan.
Welcome to my country. And to my unit.
Boss, what is this?
I'm defecting to the Soviet Union. Sokolov is a little gift from my new hosts.
Recoilless nuclear warheads. These will make a fine gift for me.
This can't be happening.
Who is he? Another one of your disciples? Are we taking him with us?
No, this one is still just a child. Too pure for us Cobras. He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
He's seen my face. We can't let him live. If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him. Jack, you can't come with us.
The new blood has been rejected. Are we done here?
Now, onto Sokolov's research facility.
Shagohod is ours.
Drift away. My place is with them now.
Snake, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move? You've got to get those wounds treated. Hang in there. All right, let's get you fixed up. Paramedic?
Okay, Snake. Just relax and it'll all be over before you know it. Stay with me. I've seen people in worse shape before. Think you can handle it?
Major. The boss. She's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select cure, you can start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with the left stick to the affected part of your body. Once you've selected the affected area, hold the weapon window button and use the left stick to select the medical item and then press the enter button. With this method, you can use items to help your recovery process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it. For lacerations, you'll need disinfectant to clean the wound, sutures to stitch it up, styptic to slow the flow of blood, and bandages to wrap the wound. If you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood?
Yeah.
Stay with me. Go into the survival viewer and treat those wounds.